Hi, Gerhard Bloom, once again, looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So you, of course, have been told by the media and the medical experts that detransitioning, that's a myth. That's a debunked myth. You know, the people who transition, people with gender dysphoria, they're absolutely so subjectively certain of their lived experience, they don't ever live with regret or ever transition back. Well, this debunked myth is yet another one of these myths that the radical left, the cultural Marxists, foist upon you. When you hear the leftists say it's been a debunked myth, start searching for the evidence, right? So, debunked, never happens, detransitioning's a myth. Well, to prove my case logically, I only need to provide one such case, right? You know, unicorns are a myth. Oh, look, there's a unicorn. It's not a myth. There are unicorns, right? Only there aren't unicorns. And no, there's no non-binary human beings either. That is a myth. So, to logically prove my case that there are no detransitioners, well, how about Kira Bell, right? She filed a lawsuit against that Tavistock clinic in the UK that has since been shut down for having prescribed her puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones when she was underage. In addition, she underwent a double mastectomy. Now, at 23, she's transitioning back to a woman, and needless to say, she deeply regrets the disfiguring changes to her body. So, the Tavistock Clinic, this was, of course, run by gender experts. Well, it has been shut down because the truth has been finally revealed that it was shuttling patients through, disfiguring their bodies, these patients' bodies, destroying their lives, and it's all been ideologically manufactured, and these lives have been destroyed. In Kira Bell's mind, someone should have been responsible. Somebody should have been looking out for her best interests. And I think she's got a point here, right? A tattoo? What are you, crazy? Those things are permanent, and you're just a child, right? Wait till you're 18, then you get to decide. But a double mastectomy and a soup of disfiguring chemicals? Well, of course, if you're sure, utter nonsense. And what about her parents? Well, here's a reality. Parents are routinely informed that puberty blockers are like a temporary pause button, right? And that cross-sex hormones can be stopped at any time and the damage will be undone. Well, this is an absolute lie. The chemical cross-gender medical treatments, the chemicals, it can't be undone. And the puberty blockers are not a pause button, right? They're not a pause button. Puberty is a developmental window that we go through, and if it's arrested, it can't simply be restarted, right? Those changes that were blocked will not suddenly emerge. Right? So, and just as troubling, parents are told that anything other than an affirming response from them will result in a serious risk of suicide. This, deliberately or not, is a distortion of the facts. Although gender dysphoric adolescents are at an increased rate of suicide, their outcomes are the same as those with similar mental health issues that aren't gender dysphoric. And the problem is now, in Canada and across the United States, if psychologists attempt to inquire what might be motivating this gender dysphoria, they're being accused of denying this transgender identity and engaging in conversion therapy. Well, it's not conversion therapy. They're not trying to convert these kids to anything. They're trying to get them to find accommodation with their true selves, right? This suicide scare is largely based on a 2014 study that found 41% of adults identifying as trans had at some point attempted suicide. The study did not factor in comorbidity with other mental health conditions, nor did it establish whether their attempt was coincidental to their trans identity. Of more concern, a study from that shameless Tavistock clinic that got shut down found an increase an actual increase in self-harm and suicidal ideation in transgender children who have received puberty blockers for more than a year. Does this sound helpful to you? And Kira Bell is hardly alone. There are thousands of young people who, after several years of transitioning, live in deep, deep regret, and the damage cannot be undone. I hope you will check out my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. It's available on Amazon. Not important because I wrote it. I wrote it because the issues could not be more important. Thank you so much for your time and attention.